respect for this.
No, I'd say I have an objection to say, you know what, I've been getting a lot of people say, I've been getting a lot of the mailings, I've heard a lot of the commercials. I like Ron Paul, but he just doesn't have a chance.
When people say that, the first thing I say is, let me ask you something. Do you have internet access? 9 times out of 10, they don't. If someone says that Ron Paul doesn't have a chance, that's one of those catchphrases they heard somewhere else that they're just going to spit out. You're not really sure if they believe it. So don't say, God damn it, he does have a chance, you know, Ron Paul or death. Just say, let me ask you something. Do you have internet access? No, I don't. That's interesting. He's not getting any coverage, or he's getting very little coverage in the mainstream media. Did you know that Ron Paul is the #1 money raiser among the Republican candidates right now? No, I didn't know that. Because if somebody did know that, they're not going to be stupid enough to say that he doesn't have a chance. So the reason that they're saying that is because they don't know these things. They're not stupid people. They're just ignorant. And they're ignorant because the media is keeping them in the dark. So you say, you know, he's the #1 money raiser. No, I didn't know that. Did you hear about the Tea Party, the big fundraiser that we did? Of course they haven't heard about it. No, I haven't heard about that. Yeah, that was 2 days ago. You know what December 16th is? No one knows what December 16th is. It's the 234th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. So right there you're tying yourself and your candidate and them back into that revolutionary spirit that, you know, overthrew the government and cast off the British and all that stuff. So it was the anniversary, the 234th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. We raised over $6 million in 24 hours, and that is an all-time American political record. No one has ever raised that much money in such a short amount. And you know what's the really fascinating part, that's amazing, is Ron Paul doesn't take any corporate money, he doesn't take any funneled in political action committee money, nothing. It's all an average of $103 from guys just like you and me. Do that again, man. You guys are on this team. You're both just citizens. $103 per person from 60,000 people, just like you and me. You see that 60,000 people in one day, and people are like, shit, powerful enough to gather action. 60,000 people one day, right here, baby. So once you do that, then they go, oh wow, I didn't know. Oh, well, I like Ron Paul. I think he's, you know, a good guy. He just he had a chance. And you know what? Don't believe the media. Let me ask you something else. And then I go into this other thing that I already talked about. Are there any other candidates, all the front runner candidates? Has anyone else knocked on your door and come to you with a copy of the Constitution and talked about their candidate? And I can guarantee you that nobody has. And I've never had somebody say yes. They always say no. No, no one has. Well, I'm here to tell you that this is the guy.
Right. You know, I think a lot of it has to do with you approaching them with confidence in what you're saying. You believe in what you're saying. You believe, yeah, you have to believe in what you're saying, or they're not going to believe what you're saying.
Right, and that's a really good point. Some of the guys, when they're new to canvassing, they'll knock on the door and they'll say, hi, I'm canvassing for Ron Paul. Do you mind if I bother you for a couple minutes? It's like saying, do you mind if I poke you in the ribs with a sharp stick for a couple minutes? Do you mind if I, you know, it's like, yeah, of course people are going to go, yeah, I mind if you bother me, piss off. You know, you're not a bother. You're bringing them back their freedom. You are bringing them back their freedom, and you better believe that that's what's happening. So, yeah, you have to go in with confidence. Don't be pushy, but be confident. Be proud.
Right, I mean, and even if someone, you know, there's a people something just went. Well, let's talk about the group of people that haven't voted or they've dropped out. And a lot of these people, it seems like when you run across these people, they seem to be the folks that they say, for example, they'll say, I don't talk about politics. Okay, that's a telltale sign of someone who doesn't vote, or they are very defensive about it. So how do you kind of, for example, tell us a story about this guy who's you know, kind of a big scary guy with all the tats and stuff.
There have been a couple of those.
They're like, they leave garbage all over and they intimidate.
Again, going back to something that I said earlier, you've got to size up the surroundings or the person as you approach them and figure out what your approach is going to be. So we were canvassing a neighborhood. A guy, it was kind of a bad neighborhood. A guy's walking down the block, and he's, you know, kind of tatted up and, you know, had piercings and whatever. And I was like, I just walked up and I was like, hey man, how you doing? I'm canvassing for the upcoming presidential primary. And he goes, oh, I don't vote. And I go, because it's a bunch of bullshit, right? And he goes, yeah. and then you just launch right into it. You know what? I felt the same way. Politics is a bunch of crap. Democrats, Republicans are all the same. Democrats want to tax and spend. Republicans want to borrow and spend. And none of them does a damn thing to protect our rights or to make us more free. And they go, yeah, that's right. And you go, except my guy. And you just launch right into it. Anybody who's got a bunch of tattoos and piercings and all that is a free spirit and wants freedom, and you demonstrate to them that you can get rid of, that if they get the right guy in office, they can get rid of their taxes, they can get their freedom back, they don't have to watch their friends come home with their legs shot off, and you can turn them and tell them they can register to vote on the day of the primary, January 8th, get them sold on this, and they will go down and do it.
Right, and it seems like this group of people you're talking about, they're not afraid to you just speak honestly with them. You try to use the same kind of like language that they're accustomed to, and you don't have to feel like you're stepping on their toes by saying, yeah, you know what, I think the system is bullshit. They're gonna like, that resonates with them. Just like when you tell a lady who's 72 years old and you say Ron Paul is going to protect Social Security, that resonates with her in the same way it would resonate with him.
Correct. Another time, showed up at a house. There was a Ford Explorer parked in the driveway on a dirt driveway, and there was this big burly guy that was like leaning in the car and rummaging around it. So his back was to me, and this, I mean, you could just tell that this guy, you don't want to come up right up behind him and be like, "Hi, sir," because the guy will turn around with a 357 or something. So I just held back. I just hung out back at the street and waited until he was done. But all the while I was looking at his car. So he's got this Ford Explorer. It's got four-wheel drive. It's covered in mud. It's scratched. It's rusted. It's dented. One of the windows was busted out, and he had riveted a sheet of aluminum over it. So this guy's a hunter. He's a hunter, especially from the size of him. This dude has got a layer of fat on him because he's out in the woods all the time, and he needs to keep warm, and he kills his own meat. So. So this guy, finally finishes with his car, gets out, turns around, and I'm standing like 20 feet away, non-threatening. And I was like, "Hi, sir, I'm canvassing. I don't want anything. If you're selling anything, I'm not interested." I said, "I'm not selling anything. I'm just canvassing for the upcoming presidential primary." "Oh, well, I'm not interested in politics." And I go, "Yeah, because it's a bunch of crap, right? Because all you do is sit back and watch these jackasses that we elect erode your rights." "Yeah, that's right." I go, "You know what? Accept my guy." And then I left that for a second. I was like, "Oh, are you a hunter?" "Yeah, I'm a hunter." "And you know what? They goddamn well better not touch my guns." I was like, "I hear you, man. I've got a bunch of guns myself. You'd be scared if you knew how many guns I have." And I'm in California where it's really hard. I mean, I've had a damnedest time amassing even a respectable arsenal. And right there, the guy's like, right on, this guy's somebody like me. Fuck the government. Take care of yourself. On and on. So I ended up talking to this guy for like 10 or 15 minutes, and by the time I was done, he was just about in tears. This big